Hi guys. So today I want to answer a question that I've been asked recently, and it's about, how can you ensure that you actually follow through with your, you know, um, with what you want to do, with your plans, with your um, maybe even New Year resolutions, but I would say more in general, how do you follow through with also with new habits that you want to develop? Actually, this is a time in the year where you might have thought about how do you want to approach the new year? How do you, what changes do you want to do in your day-to-day habits, in your actions? And you might have a lot of good ideas, but I think oftentimes it's, not about having the ideas, but how do we follow through with them consistently? And so I want to respond to that question. And also, I've actually been reading this book here again. I've read it before and I read it again now. And there's some really good insights on, also making sure that, not only you do something consistently, but you also do the right thing. So if you're wondering if you need to have more focus in your life, this is a wonderful book to read. And I might do a review on this later. If you're interested in it, leave a comment. For now, I just want to take a few ideas from this book regarding how to make sure that you do stuff consistently. And this is about actually, realizing that why are we not consistent in the first place? Because I think it's important to understand why we what's stopping us in order to prevent this from happening. So, well, our brain, really has, our brain is an amazingly powerful instrument, organ, tool that we have. It's amazingly powerful. At the same time, there are certain constraints, or let's say mechanisms in our brain that sometimes if we're not careful, they might actually work against us. Our brain actually, or we even as persons, we have multiple roles, and our brain has different areas in it. And some areas in our brain, they're just interested in, survival. And at the same time, we sometimes we want to grow, and growth necessarily is not always, it's like what's good for your survival might not always be the best if you want to grow, and vice versa. So sometimes there might be a conflict in direction that you're trying to take because different parts of your brain are like operating, and so it's important to understand that our brain, some areas at least of it, just tries to take care of survival. And survival can mean that our brain looks for shortcuts. It looks for ways to preserve energy. It looks for ways to take to take care of basic human needs. And so this is how habit forms. There's a wonderful book about habit formation, and I have to pull this out under my phone. I hope this doesn't crash. This is called The Power of Habit. Another powerful book. You have to read it. If you're interested, I can make a whole review on this book as well. Leave a comment. But to cut it short, habit loops are basically shortcuts for our brain to develop routines that help us save energy. So we see that there's a reward if we do a certain routine, and a lot of our behavior is automated. 95%, some of the studies say, of our behavior is automated. It's habitual. So how do we break this? We have to first understand that there's something called activation energy. We need to push through that resistance in us that is stopping us from growing new habits and overcoming old habits. And that resistance that is there we need energy over a consistent period of time. You know, they say on average it takes 66 days to create a new habit. So how can you make sure that through that time, because you know your motivation, it dies off after a couple of days. So how can you make sure that you can actually follow through that time until it's a new habit, or you're more consistent with what you're trying to do? One thing that helped me tremendously, and there's many other ways, but just one thing that helped me tremendously is, you know, holding yourself accountable by working with somebody else as an accountability partner. What is an accountability partner? An accountability partner is someone who is, you know, basically who are you giving permission to control you, who you are actually reporting to, and who is like looking basically what you're doing and making sure you're actually doing it. And by making sure, I just mean the fact that he's actually checking on you, that you know that if you don't do it, you have to tell him, that you made a commitment to this person that you're going to do this. You know, it's one thing if we make a commitment to ourselves, but unfortunately, we easily break those commitments. But if we make a commitment to someone else, then for some reason, this can become much more powerful. So if you have, let's say you take a good friend, accountability partner, you can take a friend, you can take a mentor or a coach, but it should be someone who is seriously invested in your growth and who has some self-discipline as well. So if you tell this person, hey, over the next 1 month or 2 months, I want to make sure that I do this every day, or that I do this every week, or whatever your commitment is, you give him permission to make sure to check on you. And you can do this in multiple ways, but one very simple way is to have a daily accountability call with that partner. I do this actually. And that call can only be a couple of minutes where you basically tell that person, hey, have you done what you said you're going to do? Have you not done it? Why have you not done it? And if you really want to take it serious, you can make a commitment contract where you say, if you don't do this, then you're going to pay a certain amount. You can donate it to a charity. But the point is that, you know, you actually have a strong incentive that is stronger than the more like the, you know, the what do you call it, the friction that is there when you want to take that action, and the lack of motivation that comes up on the way. So you need to create, in order to balance these forces, you need to create a stronger force in the form of accountability and commitment that will be stronger than, you know, the downward pull of gravity. You know, there's something that is like a gravity, like a gravitational force that is trying to hold you back. When you want to implement a new form of behavior or habit, there's a gravity, a friction that is holding you back in the form of how our brain is wired in so many ways. If you really want to understand it, read this book. But the point is, you need to create a force on the other side that is stronger to be able to counter that gravitational force. And that can be if you make a strong commitment to an accountability partner, and then even if you want to go further, you say, hey, if I don't do this every day for the next 60 days, I'm going to pay 100 euro either to you or to a charity or whatever. The point is, he's allowed to check you. You are actually committing to report to him. So you take the responsibility, you tell him, hey, I call you every day, or we make a fixed time. You can make this in the morning, like 6 a.m. or in the evening, 8 p.m., whatever works for you both. And best is if both of you make an account, like a commitment to something, because that can motivate both of you. And this is really a powerful tool, you know. This can really help you to become very, very consistent. And it's a very strong system, which is like a support system that you create for yourself to kind of protect yourself from your own kind of weaker tendencies, and to make sure that you can really realize your potential. Guys, I'm wondering what you think about this system. How are you going to use it? Leave a comment below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I hope I see you next week. Bye guys, I wish you all the best.